What's up? Yep, cat's out of the bag. I'm officially under contract on my second investment property. Now I am moving from Ames to Ankeny. Today I'm going to kind of show you the numbers behind this, why I decided to do this, kind of everything behind the scenes, so you can actually see what these numbers look like and maybe if it's something that you would be interested in. So I'm buying another townhome, built in 2017, so it's pretty stinking new, and I got a super good deal on it. It was listed at $208,000 and we got it down to $201,500. The owner of this place purchased this property in 2018 for about $190,000. He purchased this place for 20% down at a 3.75% interest rate. This is all public knowledge, so I didn't hack into this guy's financing terms and all that stuff, so don't be alarmed. So he purchased it for 20% down, 3.75% interest rate on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I'm going to guesstimate here, but I'm going to put his closing costs in a ballpark between $1,500 and $2,000. We'll call it $1,500. But when he purchased this property, he had property taxes of $3,700. His insurance, I'm going to guesstimate, is around $300 per year. The HOA fee on this property is $140 per month, or about $1,700 per year, and this has not changed since he has lived there. And we're going to again guesstimate here, but we're going to assume maybe he spent $500 on maintenance and then an additional $500 on miscellaneous expenses. So an extra $1,000 per year. Now, reason number one why I purchased this place, it's currently renting for $1,300 per month. Why is this a good thing? Because market rents in Ankeny right now for a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, which is what we're getting, are about $500 to $550 per bedroom, or $1,500 to $1,700 per month total for the whole unit. So all I did was message the listing agent asking for the leasing terms, and the reason why he is under renting this property is because it is going to one of his friends. So to the average buyer or the average investor, seeing $1,300 per month is a little bit of an alarm. Red flag. But this is where the agent in me comes in. A simple text to the listing agent just asking what the situation is gave a much better insight on what the current deal is with this being under rented and why it hasn't sold yet. A normal investor would see this and say the numbers just don't work at $1,300 a month. But being the buyer, being the realtor, and being the investor in this, having and getting a little bit more of an insight on the situation just completely changes the whole thing. Now with this particular property, you have to live in the property for at least 1 year before you can start renting it, which is perfect for my situation. Buying a property each year for the next 10 years, I'm not even going to consider renting this place for another year anyways. So selling it, bought it for $190, it's now going to sell for $201,500. Selling this property at $201,500 gives it an appreciation rate of about 1.5% per year. If he had sold this at $208,000, what it was originally listed at, it would have been about 2.25%. But again, being the investor, being the realtor, and being the agent helps tremendously in negotiating terms, etc. So I got a pretty good deal on this place, and everything around it is actually selling for around $205,000, $210,000. So this is a great deal on all ends. But he held this for 4 years. My guesstimate is he's going to get around a $60,000, $65,000 check. So after commissions, closing costs, after he sells this property, his net profit is going to be about $20,000, giving him a little over a 12% return on his investment of $40,000, his down payment. Now, flipping over to my end. So I'm purchasing this place for $201,500, putting 5% down instead of 20. Seller got a 3.75% interest rate. I'm getting a 2.25% interest rate, 1.5% cheaper than what he got his for. 30-year fixed rate mortgage, closing costs gonna guesstimate around $1,500. Taxes when he purchased the property were about $3,700 per year. Now they're about $4,000 per year. So in 4 years, it's increased about 3.25% per year. Insurance, we're gonna keep at about $300 per year as well. The HOA fee is still $140 per month or $1,700 per year. It hasn't changed in the last 4 years. And I'm going to guesstimate around the same amount of money set aside for maintenance and miscellaneous expenses. These are around $500 per year each. $500 for maintenance, $500 for miscellaneous. Now to monthly rent, as I mentioned, this place has been under rented. In a year from now, by the time I move out, go to the next property and rent this place, I'm going to probably be able to rent this place for $1,500 to $1,600 per month. I'm just going to use $1,500 per month as a safe number. Now for the last 3 years, the seller has not increased rent, but the way that Ankeny is growing and how fast it's growing, I think there's going to be a strong demand for rental properties. And I think think I can increase rent every single year on average of about 1 to 1.5%. I'm going to set aside 5% per month for vacancy. In the case, somewhere down the road, somebody ends up moving out, they get a new job, something like that. I have to have some money reserved for that scenario if it takes a month or 2 months to find a new renter to fill that. The appreciation rate on this property over the last 4 years, as I mentioned, was about 1.5%. And it's kind of funny, there was actually another offer on the table when I ended up getting mine accepted, and it was for a higher amount. This place probably could have sold at $205,000 or $208,000 what they were asking. If that's the case, the appreciation rate would have been around 2% to 2.25%. So that's what we're going to kind of use in my calculation. But with this 10-year plan that I've got going, if all of these numbers stay the same, projected increases, or they stay online into what I'm projecting, by year 10, I will be making around $2,100 per year on this property in cash flow. If I were to sell this property at year 10, the cash that I would receive at closing after commissions and such would be right around $100,000. So this is kind of the beauty in house hacking. It's the beauty in real estate investing. You have the choice. Do I want to keep making monthly income, passive income, or is it a good time to sell? But on the other end, say you've done this 10 times, you have 10 properties bringing in $2,100 per month. If all scenarios were the same, by year 10, you have the choice. You could either sell all 10 of those places, make $1 million, or hold them and make an additional $21,000 per year in cash flow from your rent. The other little nugget here that you probably will not find with any other investment vehicle, that down payment, the $10,000, around $10,000 going down towards this property. In 10 years, if all goes well, that $10,000 down payment will give me around $100,000 return if I decided to sell it. At the same time, after year 6, around the end of year 6, I will have made my $10,000, $11,000 down payment back from cash flow. So the opportunities are endless. To wrap this up, the reason I'm doing this too is because of what I mentioned in previous videos. I think in the near future, maybe in the next 6, 12, 18 months, there's going to be a huge boom in rental property demand. First, once mortgage rates start going back up, there are going to be a lot of buyers that are not going to be able to afford a property to purchase like there is now. 2, after this forbearance program expires at the end of the month, the next 12 to 18 months, I think there are going to be a lot of foreclosures, a lot of inventory for buyers to purchase. Now, how many of these places are going to foreclose from the people in the forbearance program? I have no idea. And it might not be as bad as I think it's going to be. But it's not a matter of if people are going to foreclose on their homes, it's how many of them are there going to be. There's going to be a lot of inventory out there, a lot of people getting pushed out of their homes, and everybody needs a place to live. With all this inflation we've seen, all of the cash that is now in the economy, I think there's going to be a decent amount of people that are going to be willing to pay a little bit extra for something a little bit nicer, even if you are renting it per bedroom or as the unit as a whole. So there's the deep dive into my next investment property. Next week, I'm going to show you and tell you what is going on with my current place and what that's going to look like moving forward. A lot of moving parts right now, but I think you guys are going to enjoy this journey and how all this ends up shaping out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.